What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be doing a review of the Russian Boxer lace-up training gloves. So stay tuned. Hey, what's up, guys? So today we have these Russian Boxer Mexican style boxing gloves we'll be doing a close-up weigh-in and review on. And Russian Boxer is a small company based out of Moscow, Russia, that sells boxing gear, mainly headgear, groin protectors, and gloves. And I was really intrigued by this particular brand because one of my favorite up-and-coming boxing prospects, Vladimir Mishev, used this brand, and I've seen him use it for quite a while now, and I was kind of curious just because of how the gloves look when I saw him using them. They reminded me of Grant's. And come to find out after checking out their Instagram page and doing a little bit of translation from Russian to English, is that these Russian Boxer boxing gloves are actually made by the same manufacturer that makes Grant's, hence why they look identical to Grant's. Now, I know you guys have seen a lot of my videos I've done, on Mexican style gloves, New Sporting, Campeon, Hernandez. I mean, you name it, I've pretty much done reviews on good vast majority of them. And these right here are identical to Grant's. And I have my pair of black and orange custom Grant's that I did a review on a little while back, and these look identical. Now, I got these in 14 ounce. Those black and orange Grant's I have are 12 ounce. So obviously these are a little bit bigger, but other than that, they are exactly the same. Same kind of leather, same hand profile cut, same kind of padding. I mean, the welted seams look exactly the same. The only thing that looks different from these compared to Grant's is just the logo, and that's really it. So without further ado, I'll give you guys a nice close-up of it. Again, these gloves are handmade in Mexico, so it has that really nice, thick Mexican leather with that really strong odor. It does have your welted seams with latex foam. And, you can see that it has that very Grant-like signature fingertip compartment that's a little flatter and smooth and kind of narrow on the fingertip area. You can see all the leather is kind of tucked in right there to the welted seams. You do have a medium-sized grip bar right there. Again, welted seams throughout, double stitching throughout. And another thing that Grant does as well is they put a lot of padding on the wrist support here. I'd say almost a full inch of padding to really give you a locked-in feel. And then on the back side, you do have the Russian Boxer logo. That's nothing too crazy with this. Another thing you notice is just like Grant, they actually have the website right here on the outer ring of the logo. And then Russian Boxer, it's a cloth tag, made in Mexico, 14 ounces, same location as Grant as well, with a soft canvas liner. So just to show you guys how symmetrical they are, they do have that nice parallel thumb. So I was really excited to find these, and I wanted to actually say thank you to my friends over at Russian Boxer. They sent me these gloves, and they also got it autographed and signed by Vladimir Mishev. So that was a little request I asked from them, and they were able to come through and do that for me. So I'd like to say thank you to my friends over there at Russian Boxer for that. So let's go ahead and put these on the scale, see how much they weigh. Start off with the right glove. If I were to guess, these are probably going to be a little bit overweight. Typically, a lot of Mexican gloves I've used, they're usually a little overweight. So yeah, these are 15.2, so about an ounce overweight. Their advertised weight is 14, and these are 15.3. So they're equal to each other, which is great. They have good symmetry as far as weight goes. They're just about an ounce overweight. So on to the review. What's up, guys? Carlo here, and today I'll be doing a review of these Russian Boxer made in Mexico leather lace-up training gloves. I got mine in the black and green color scheme with a lace-up closure, and these are 14 ounces. I'd like to give a big shout out to my friends over at Russian Boxer for sending me these gloves to try and do a review on, as well as getting them autographed and signed by one of my favorite up-and-coming boxers and prospects, Vladimir Mishev, who is also based out of Moscow, Russia. Now, Russian Boxer is a smaller boutique brand based out of Moscow, and I actually saw them through social media because I watch a lot of training videos on YouTube. I've seen a lot of Vladimir Mishev's training videos as well as some of his fights. And I noticed they used this particular brand, Russian Boxer, which I didn't even know existed and didn't really know much about it at all. So I started following them on Instagram, noticing some of the gear that they were selling. And I initially noticed that a lot of their gear looked like it was Pakistan made. And they started kind of transitioning into more of the Mexican style boxing gloves. And one thing I had noticed with these gloves, they looked almost identical from the pictures to Grant's. Now I know a lot of people have an epiphany over Grant's. We're always kind of looking for gloves that are made in the same way, just because Grant's are super expensive, and most people can't either afford them or even want to spend money on them, even if they could afford them. So there's a lot of these smaller boutique Mexican brands like Boxeo TM, Casanova, New Sporting, that are really starting to spring up and make gloves. And I've done reviews on them in the past and even with the New Sportings, they look really similar to Grant's. But up until now, when I got these gloves, I believe that these are actually made 100% by the same people who make Grant boxing gloves. Russian Boxer also mentions that in their Instagram post, that their newer style Mexican gloves, like you see here, are made by Grant. And I bet you by just looking at it here in this video, they pretty much look identical. And I actually got a pair of my 12-ounce black and orange Grants that I have right here, just to show you guys how pretty much exact these are to each other. I actually bought these directly from Grant. I did not get these from a third party. This is considered a custom color. Anytime you don't go with their black and red or their red and black color scheme, it's pretty much considered a custom glove. But I got this directly from them. It came from Southern California, from Monarch Beach, which is, I believe, is where they have their operations from all the Grant gear I've ordered in the past. But just to show you, I'll do a comparison vid later down the road, but just to show you, this is 12 ounces, this is 14. So obviously this is gonna be a little bit bigger, but to show you how identical the gloves are, I mean, the side profile, the kind of padding, the leather is exactly the same. The thumb is exactly the same, the stitching, the welted seams, even the fingertip compartment, the way it's formed, the padding on the wrist looks exactly the same. The triple cuff design minus the Russian Boxer patch. The weight tag on the cuff, the interior liner is exactly the same. Hell, even the logo is really similar with the website on the outer perimeter of the oval. So I'm pretty sure that these Russian Boxer gloves are made by the same people who manufactured Grant's. So with that being said, from a design perspective, it does have a very Mexican style design to it with a very nice parallel thumb. It utilizes latex foam on the inside, full genuine leather cowhide construction. You can see here, it looks really nice. The leather is nice and thick, has a really strong odor when you take it out of the box, a very strong leather odor. Design-wise, there's not really much to this glove. It's a really basic looking glove, which I like. It does have their standard Russian Boxer screen printed logo, as well as a cloth patch on the back of the triple cuff. It says Russian Boxer there, made in Mexico. It also has the website, which is russianboxer.ru. When you go to this website to order products or through their Instagram, they do speak English, but on the website, you have to use the Google Translate option if you don't speak Russian or obviously understand the language or know how to communicate. So you can translate that to whatever language you're in. If you're in English, you could translate it and then it'll show you what they offer on their website. But Russian Boxer mainly offers just glove, headgear, and groin protector, and that's pretty much it for now. I did go with the black and green, so you do see it has a split thumb for the black and green right there. You do have an attached thumb that goes into the welted seam. Everything is welted seams all over. Medium-sized grip bar, double stitching throughout. Split palm right there. You do have about an inch, which is kind of a signature thing with a lot of Mexican gloves, especially Grant's, and now these Russian Boxers. You have about an inch of medium to firm padding along the wrist that really gives you a great amount of wrist support. And then the inside, you do have a soft canvas liner on the inside that's stitched in pretty nicely. And then you do have the 14-ounce weight tag here. Unlike Grant's, these actually don't have a tag on the inside. Grant's actually have a tag that has their little warning label, and then it says made in Mexico. So with this, you can see it has the little label with the Grant logo as well as the made in Mexico tag. But on these Russian boxers, it doesn't have that. Obviously, they foregoed with that for obvious reasons, but there you go. So from a design standpoint, your standard Mexican style glove, really nice thumb as well. Now, quality on these gloves are top notch. Again, really nice high quality leather. You can see all throughout. It does have more of a matte sheen to it. It's not very shiny. So it does have a matte sheen to it. It has a nice thickness to it. I like that the seams on the glove are all welted and reinforced. You can see there. The color of the green is really nice. It has a really nice sheen to it. The double stitching looks really good. The stitching along the grip bar looks nice. One thing I like is that all the seams are done really nice. Like the welted seams are trimmed nicely. You don't see any like jagged edges. You don't see any stitching that's coming apart. The seams right there where the attached thumb goes into the fingertip looks really good. You know, the latex foam on the fingertip compartment is really nice. Everything is all bonded nicely to the leather as well. You do have really nice laces that are pretty long. One thing I do like about these laces, they're the round style laces. They're not flat. So when you lace these up, they're really easy to lace and unlace. A lot of times when you get the flat laces, when you lock them down real tight, it's really hard to unlace them because they really intertwine together. With the round laces, I really like these because you can still get the same amount of support when you lock your wrist in, but it's just easier to unlace when you need to take the gloves off. And then you do have that soft canvas liner throughout the entire glove, and as that 1-inch padding. So quality of these gloves are top notch. You know, I didn't see any flaws in terms of the leather itself. The actual construction of the glove is really nice and solid. The piping looks really good. You do have ventilated holes on the thumb. Nothing on the palm side. I wish there was some ventilation there. Not a huge deal, just more or less for breathability. But it looks really good. The screen printing on the logo on the back is nice and symmetrical on both gloves. And these make a great all-around gym glove because you have this patch on the back. You don't have any plastic or sharp edges on here. And just the overall composition of the glove is really good. You can see that the balance is really nice as well. So the weight is distributed nicely throughout the back of this cuff all the way to the front of the glove. So you don't feel like it's too top heavy on either side. So you can see I can grab either side and I don't have any issues with the glove sagging or having any issues there. Now the comfort of the glove is great as well. I slide my hand in here. And one thing you notice with these gloves is that it does have a little bit more of a roomier hand compartment. Just like Grant's again, if you do have medium-sized hands, I would recommend going with 12 to 14 ounces. 16 ounce and these type of gloves are gonna be pretty big and you have a lot of wiggle room on the inside hand compartment, even with your hand wraps on. So with these being 14 ounce, I still feel like I have a little bit of room right here on the side with my wraps on. They still feel great. If you like to have more of a locked in compact feel, then 12 ounces like the ones I have here with these Grants will give you a lot more a locked in feel. These 12 ounce Grants are actually about the same size as some 16 ounce Sawboss Pro Series. So for comparison's sake, these 12 ounce Grants right here, size wise and fit wise are like 16 ounce Sawboss Pro Series. So that's kind of the way I'd compare them. These 14 ounce right here are a little bit more roomier. So again, I would say if you have medium to large hands, I would go with this. If you're a heavyweight, if you're a super big person and you just have big ass hands, then I would definitely go with 16 ounces. But these gloves are definitely a little bit more roomier than normal. But comfort wise, they're excellent. My thumb is in an excellent position. I love that parallel thumb that you get with these type of gloves. I don't feel any pressure pinching from the seam that runs down this thumb right here. I don't feel any jamming at the top of the tip right here. And when I make a fist, one thing I like is it doesn't pull the attached thumb too down to where the tip of the thumb compresses down on the tip of your thumb. So the inner liner doesn't push up against that. The finger compartment is nice and deep and it has a nice piece of felt. So right here you have the grip bar, which is in a perfect spot on your probably your middle part of your fingertip right here, or should I say the middle part of your fingers. And then right here, your fingers sit in this pocket, but they add, just like the Grants, you have a rolled piece of grip bar right here, but with a piece of felt to give a little bit more of a softer, luxurious feel in the fingertip compartment. It doesn't feel like there's just an open seam right here to where it scratches against your finger. Again, just small attention to details that makes wearing the gloves a little bit more comfortable. But you can definitely make a great fist with these. They definitely have more of a broken in feel right off the bat. I don't feel like these gloves are very stiff at all. You can see here that I can open them and close my hand with relative ease, and there's really no stiffness whatsoever. I'd say the one improvement they can make with this glove in the hand compartment is maybe put a little bit of a softer foam that is up against the inside of the glove. So it's up against your hand. That way you have a little bit more of a conforming feel. With these gloves, I feel like, just like Grant's, there's a lot of room between the knuckle and the foam on the inside because they use a latex foam. And because of that, there's sometimes a little bit of a gap in between your knuckles and parts of the padding on the inside, just depending on where your knuckles come out at. So maybe if they lined it with some other kind of like soft foam, that way it's a little bit more conforming to your hand and you don't feel like there's a little bit of a gap in between that. But other than that, man, the comfort on these gloves are fantastic. Now, the protection and performance on these gloves are great as well. They do use a latex foam in here. And I really like the density of this foam. You can see right here, just to show you guys, it has kind of a medium density to it. It's not super stiff, it's not super soft, it's right in the middle. And because of that, and you can actually see the punching surface is nice and wide and kind of compresses down and is really nice and flat. So you can really land on those two front knuckles right here when you land, but you get an excellent sensation of making contact with your target. You get a nice good crack, and you also get a good amount of protection. Would I say that these are the most protective gloves? No, they're not like some of those bag gloves I've reviewed where you can just wail on the bag and not feel anything. You can definitely feel the shot come through, but they're still very protective. So I'd say that the padding and the latex foam on here is very well balanced to where you can pretty much use it for everything in the gym. Bag work, make work. You can use these for sparring, pretty much for everything. And you get a good power transmission and feedback with these gloves. So I really like how they perform. Together with that nice wrist support here, that really locks it in. You can see that 1 inch of padding that they use right here along the wrist. Once you tie this down, it really locks your wrist into place. So overall, just a great performing glove, and has a lot of good wrist support and stability as well built into it. Now, cost-wise with these gloves is going to be the big thing. These gloves are about 12,000 Russian rubles, which is about 190 US dollars. So for me, that's an excellent price at 190 US dollars. Obviously, plus shipping, you're probably looking at around 200-ish dollars for basically 100% made in Mexico, high quality, high performing glove that are essentially the same thing as Grant. So these are Grant gloves. I know a lot of you are big fans of Grants and just don't want to drop the money for that. But to me, these Russian boxers offer the same exact thing, both in terms of quality and performance. You can see they're pretty much the exact same glove. And but for 190 US dollars, that's great. Obviously, they ship to the United States. If you're interested in getting these gloves, make sure you reach out to them. I'll put all the information down below in the description box. That way you can reach out to them and see how much it costs to ship to wherever you're located. But for the cost, these gloves are fantastic. I highly recommend them. They perform great. They're designed well. They're crafted with high quality materials, and a lot of pride is used in making these gloves. So again, if you have any questions or comments, make sure you guys leave them down below in the comments box. I'll put the link in the description box where you can find these Russian boxer boxing gloves. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.